Welcome to another episode of Unlocking the Mind Behind Make More Work Less. Hi, my name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed, whether it's to help them increase their credibility, expand their exposure, or add into their multiple streams of income. Now, today on another episode of Unlocking the Mind, we talk about another cognitive bias. And the reason why we talk about these biases is so that we can better understand how our minds work, how we make decisions, how we can better build relationships or negotiate, or even prevent ourselves or avoid certain cognitive traps that we are actually faced with every single day. So to introduce our cognitive bias for today, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever had the experience where you've parked your car many times and you backed out of your driveway and your garage many times, and you do this all the time, and then all of a sudden one day you backed out and you realize, I just nicked my side mirror. Well, why would that be? You've done it all the same time every single time, and you kind of expected it to be the same every single time. Well, the truth is your spouse or your partner or somebody like that parked it differently, and it was just slight off than what you usually park it like. So that is the expectation bias, and that's our topic for today. You expected it to be always the same, and therefore you kind of let down your guard a little bit, and then you backed out, and all of a sudden you nicked your side mirror. Well, that's expectation bias. We always kind of expected a certain thing because of experience or reputation or even stereotypes. So to kind of further on that, I'm going to ask you another question. And this is a riddle that's been asked to many people, and actually in certain tests and certain studies as well. And the riddle goes like this. A father and a son was driving down a highway, and very unfortunately, they got into a car accident. The father dies, and the son was rushed to the hospital, where the surgeon comes in, gets ready to operate, and goes and stops and takes a step back and said, I can't operate on him. That's my son. So how is that? What's your answer? And this question was asked to many people. And in fact, it was asked on a radio station one day too. So I'm going to give you a few moments here just to think about what your answer could be. I hope you got your answer. Okay. So when it was played on the radio station, there was a whole different many different types of answers that came in. One, it could be adopted father. The person who was driving was a priest. Same-sex marriage. It could be adopted son, and the list goes on and on and on. And then the right answer was actually, in fact, the surgeon was the son's mother. And the thing is, this was actually pretty shocking. Lots of people go, well, of course, it could be his mother. And they start questioning themselves, how come we didn't come up with that answer? It's pretty logical. And the thing is, out of 100 people, usually 15% of people will actually come up with that answer. And when this was actually brought into another group of people, one person who, once they heard that the answer was, in fact, the mother, they kind of just slammed their heads on the table and just couldn't believe it. And then the professor actually went up to that person and goes, well, don't be so hard on yourself. Many other people didn't get it either. And that person said, well, no, I should have got it because my mom was a surgeon. And so even life experience doesn't prevent you from this bias. We all are susceptible to expectation bias. It's been done to you. It's been done to me. And I'm pretty sure you and I have done it to other people. And because stereotypes are always there. And unfortunately, it is there. And sometimes we just have to take that step back and kind of see it from a different light. Is this stereotyping, or do we have all the right information? So for instance, one of my personal experiences is sometimes when somebody else comes up to me and goes, wait a minute, you're Chinese. What do you mean you can't read, or you can't, your grammar is not perfect in Chinese? And the thing is, I wasn't born in China. I wasn't born in Hong Kong. I was born in Canada. And therefore, Chinese is actually almost like a second language to me. Hence, my Chinese is not perfect. But people sometimes look at me and say, wait a minute, what do you mean you don't know Chinese? Or what do you mean you can't read? Or what do you mean you can't write? But sometimes I catch myself doing the same thing. I might meet another person who's Chinese and go, wait a minute, what do you mean you can't speak Chinese? And the thing is, it's it happens to me all the time, and I sometimes can't prevent myself from doing the same thing to somebody else. So the thing is, it happens to the best of us, it happens to everybody, and it happens vice versa too. So it's one of those things that it's very, very difficult to avoid. However, when we start to practice it, when we start to train ourselves in different situations, and we can have somebody else kind of practice with us, throwing us all these different scenarios, and then seeing how we can respond. The other thing is sometimes we can take a step back before we jump into a conclusion, maybe ask ourselves, wait a minute, maybe that is a possibility. And if it is, let's not make a quick judgment, or let's not make a quick comment to counteract that possibility of it being true. Now, unfortunately, this has in fact happened, and it could be very, very dangerous. In 2016, during a flight, there was somebody who was actually in need of medical attention. And somebody yelled out, hey, we need a physician, we need a nurse, we need somebody who knows medical to come and help this person out. And there was this person who put up their hands and go, hey, I could help, I could help. And unfortunately, after many attempts to try and help, the flight attendants actually went up to that person and said, well, sorry, you could put your hand down. We're looking for somebody who's actually a physician or an actual nurse that can help out. And later on, they found somebody who was a old white male who eventually went and helped. The problem was that person was a 4-year med student who was actually very, very capable of helping out. But the thing was, she was Black and a woman and very, very young. And the flight attendants just jumped to conclusions, not thinking that that person was actually qualified to do so. So how do we, like I said, how do we overcome this? And I think I kind of missed what exactly the expectation bias is, and that is the perception and the decision-making that can allow a mistake assessment to proceed. And basically, we're talking about stereotypes, we're talking about jumping to conclusions when we don't actually give it a chance to find out what the actual situation is, or to give it a chance to get all the information in. So how do we prevent this? Like I said, we should take a step back, give it the probability of actually being true or actually being a reality and actually being an option. And then also just kind of not jump to conclusions so fast. Make sure that you're not being stereotypical, and just assess the situation, practice with different scenarios, and you'll be better to face these scenarios when they come, and you won't be so quick to jump to conclusions. And therefore, you'll be able to build better relationships and make better decisions. So if you like this episode on the expectation bias, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you like this episode, we have a lot of other episodes on confirmation biases or with other cognitive biases with previous episodes. And if you like this show, please tune in to our Peak Potential Success Show. We have the Mastermind Bites and also the Make More Mind Bites as well, which is updated every single week. So hope you like this episode. Like I said, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I love seeing the comments. And until next time, today is the day to unlock your potential. We'll see you later.